clause in SQL. In the previous video, we have seen how we could apply group by and group the data. Now, having clause is used to filter the grouped data. So having clause is always preceded by group by clause. Having clause cannot exist independently without group by. At this point, it is important to understand the difference between where clause and having clause, both of which are used to filter the data in SQL. Where clause filters the rows before grouping the data, and having clause filters the groups after aggregation. While where clause is applied to individual rows, having clause is applied to groups of data. Inside a where clause, we cannot use aggregate functions, but we can use them in having clause. And finally, if you look at the execution order, where clause is executed first before grouping, and having clause is executed only after grouping or aggregation. Now let's look at some examples of using having clause. List for each customer and order date, the customer's full name, and the total cost of items ordered that is greater than $1,000. The data is in 3 different tables: customers table, orders table, and order details table. So I'm selecting the columns. I concat customer first name and customer last name and aliasing it as customer full name, o.order date, and sum of od.quoted price into od.quantity ordered. I'm aliasing as total cost of items. From customers, inner join with orders on customer ID column, and inner join with order details on order number column. Now I group by all the non-aggregate columns: customer first name, customer last name, and order date, and finally applying a filter on the group data, having total cost of items greater than 1,000. Let's use order by clause to order by customer first name and customer last name and run it. We could see all the customer full names and the order date where the total cost of items is greater than $1,000. Let's go to the next question. Show me the states on the west coast of the United States where the total of the orders is greater than 1 million. This data is also in 3 different tables: customers, orders, and order details. Now we want the states only on the west coast of United States, so they are Washington, California, and Oregon. That's why we use a where clause to filter the states before grouping them and get the data. So I select the customer state and the total cost of orders, which is the aggregated sum of quoted price times quantity ordered. From customers, inner join with orders, inner join with order details on the respective columns. Now I'm filtering the data on customer state, where customer state in Washington, Oregon, or California, and finally grouping it on the non-aggregate column customer state, having the total cost of orders greater than 1 million. Now if I run this, we get the states on the west coast where the total cost of orders is greater than $1 million. Next question. How many orders are for only one product? The data is in a single table here. Order details. We'll use a subquery to answer this question. Now since the question is asking for how many orders, we just want the count of orders. So I select count of order number as single item orders. From here, instead of a table, I'm using a table subquery and giving it an alias name S. This subquery is selecting order number and count of product number from order details table, group by order number, having count of product number equal to 1. So it's looking for the orders where the count of products is 1. Overall, the outer query is selecting the order numbers from this inner subquery. If you run this, we get all the orders where there is only 1 product. This is the last question for the video. Show me each vendor and the average by vendor of the number of days to deliver products that are greater than the average delivery days for all vendors. The data is in 2 different tables, vendors table and product vendors table. So I select vendor's name and average of pv.days to deliver as vendor delivery average. From vendors, in a join product vendors on vendor ID column, group by vendor name, having vendor delivery average greater than. Here I'm selecting a subquery. I'm selecting the average of all the values in the days to deliver column and giving it an alias name all vendor average. Now if you run this, we get all the vendors where the average number of days to deliver products is greater than the average delivery days for all vendors. Now if you want all vendors average also in the final result table, we could do that by writing this subquery in the select class. Now we could see the vendors, their average delivery and the overall average delivery. That's all for the video. Thank you for watching.